What's up, everybody? It's your boy Will King, and I'm here with
Nikki J.
And this is a great episode right here. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast, the Say It podcast. We got a awesome person here today. My boy Peter Rhim. What's up, Peter?
How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good. So we're here today to talk about a situation that happened up here in upstate New York in a small town where I'm familiar with. You're now familiar with, right, Nikki?
Not at all.
Medina, New York, and you are a coach of a Little Loop football team.
Yes, sir.
The age bracket, what age bracket are you?
7 to 9,
7 and 9?
somewhere in that range, yeah.
Gotcha. So there was an incident that happened last season where that a cheerleader from the opposing team apparently got injured somehow during the course of handshakes, and a lot of things happened after that. I believe that it was a lot of racially motivated situation. I think it was also wanting to get the big dogs out. But we'll get into that. So let's just start from the beginning. What happened that day? What happened?
So, as normal, we played a regular football game. We won the game.
This is Medina, right?
Medina versus another team, Akron.
It was Akron.
It was Akron.
We're going to talk about it. It was Akron.
Absolutely right. So, it was Akron. We lined up. The way we lined up was our football players was first, our cheerleaders was second. I was behind the cheerleaders. I was the first coach behind the cheerleaders. Mm-hmm. We walked through the line. They slapped hands like we normally do. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear no fuss, no commotions, no crying, no owls. I didn't see nobody raise a hand. We walk up to the far sideline, furthest away from the bleachers as we can go. Mm-hmm. I observe an Akron parent, mom. At this point, I didn't know what she was. I thought she was a board member.
Okay.
So she's walking towards us as our kids are celebrating the win.
Was it like a win as like, what type of win? Was it like a blowout?
I can't remember the score, but I do not believe they scored on us.
Okay.
So I want to say 24, maybe 30. We can't go above 42. So it wasn't 42-0, but we pulled back. We stopped playing in like the second quarter.
Got you.
That's how much we was up by. We didn't want to score no more. So they was over there cheering. It was a great win. Woman walks directly to me. I am not the head coach. I just want to point that out. I am not the head coach of this team. I'm an assistant coach.
Gotcha.
She walks up to me. I don't know what happened. Kids celebrating. I'm celebrating with the kids. Good game. Good game. Good game.
But let's back this up. Why do you think that, like, was there other coaches around you, other adult men that were?
So it was me, another assistant coach. Now, head coaches usually last to shake hands with their head coach. Mm-hmm. So it don't get a misconstrued like I'm the head coach or somebody else. Mm-hmm. So he was still over there talking with the head coach.
Okay.
Everybody in this league, it had to be at least 4 board members there from each team.
Okay.
Nobody knew what happened. So she walks beeline to me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't hear her at first because her voice was hoarse. I don't know if it was because of screaming during the game. Mm-hmm. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know what the woman talking about. I'm thinking it's a board member. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking something happened and it went through the proper channels. Right. And she coming over to reprimand our kids.
Oh, she's saying this to the kids. You should be ashamed of yourself, not
to me and the kids, because the kids are circled. They as close as me as we are right now. Mm-hmm. Like it's the huddle. Mm-hmm. We were getting ready to break down and let them go for the day. Mm-hmm. Great game. Mm-hmm. Waiting on the head coach. He's shaking hands with the head coach.
Okay.
No complaints from that head coach.
Gotcha.
This only complaint came from this woman, who I thought was a board member.
Mm-hmm. And while she's there approaching you, what's going on the field? Do you notice?
Akron team is over there.
So nothing, no commotion.
No commotion.
She's coming over to you.
She didn't say nothing to nobody. She walked straight to me.
Okay.
The reason I know this happened like this because our board members stay outside the fence like our parents do.
Gotcha.
I was a board member at the time, but I was a coach, so I was inside. So I'm thinking this Akron's board member.
Gotcha.
So I'm thinking, okay, something happened. Let her reprimand the kids.
Right.
She proceeds to tell the kids they're going to jail.
Now, these kids are 8 or 9 years old?
Yes. They start crying. I realized she doesn't have the official badge you're supposed to have on. I step in when I realized, like, you threatening these kids and told her, my words exactly, get the fuck off the field. Mm-hmm. She continues going on. Now, the parents of these kids are standing behind this fence, angry, threatening. They threatening her, but you threatening our kids, and I can't, because they respected the rules. They didn't come on the field.
So the parents of your kids are now angry, of your team.
It was only one parent from Akron because the other Akron parents was over by the gate waiting for their kids to leave. Like, the football team and everybody else left.
Right, but when they heard this lady approach you and start yelling at the kids, then those parents were upset
our
from your
parents
team.
got upset, and
Right.
now they want to come through the fence, and our board had to hold them back. Honestly, had to physically hold them back.
Gotcha.
Somebody from Akron calls the police, Medina police.
Gotcha.
Medina police proceeds, I don't know the exact words, but it's from the hand up or something. It wasn't assault. It was just like somebody missed.
Right.
Which I took it as because, like I said, my daughter cheers for the team. I have no kids on this team.
Right. Now, let's be clear what you're talking about because I watched the video. So it was a little girl, a cheerleader, that something happened to her arm.
I say that.
She tells
Something
me her
happened to
daughter
her
was
arm.
slapped
There
on
was
the
like a
arm
red
after
kind of
shaking
welt.
hands with
It was in
Medina
this
players.
area.
Discoloration,
It was
right,
in, forearm area.
to her arm.
Yep.
And so this is why the police said something about from the hand up because it was above her hand
Yep, and
where
it-
she had this little
and-
imprint
Yes.
from what looked like someone possibly missing a hand or something during a slap.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that proceeds to happen. It dies down. I knew we was going to receive something from Royal.
Okay.
They went to Facebook and to the news.
Okay, you know what? Before we even jump to that, now after this happened, I heard that there was another parent when the police was there. Another parent from Akron had to be escorted out because they were like obnoxious or threatening or something along those lines.
They were threatening to a board member that was her. She didn't have a kid on the team either. Her kid plays on another team.
Okay.
She came out to try to defuse the situation. I don't remember her title at the time. She might have been vice president of our league. Or vice commissioner, sorry. She came on the field. She was diffusing everything. Now, her attitude is a little brash. She is still in the Army. Like, you're not going to disrespect her. She was talking and blah, blah, blah. This parent came on the field. She turned around and said, you need to get out the field. The Akron parent said, oh, you coming at me. The woman stepped over the bag and said, if I wanted to come at you, I would. Get off the field. That was that end of that altercation, I think.
So, like overall, right now, Nikki, tell me if you feel the same. It started off as a kid issue. Now it's blown up to be this is all adults acting inappropriately and out of line.
And we couldn't. That's what I tried to tell everybody after the fact. We ain't gonna never get the truth out of these kids because we acted like that. Like, and I didn't say I acted in any type of way, but I'm an adult, so I put myself in that category because. They categorize our kids and they categorize us and kicked us out. So if you want to categorize everybody, the kids ain't gonna tell now.
Right.
Who gonna tell when all this going on? You threaten to go to jail and foster homes, and half these kids only got one parent. So you threaten me at that age with going to jail or a foster home. Of course I'm gonna clam up and shut down. Even if I know who did it, I don't want to see them go through that. And I don't know if somebody did it or they didn't, but that woman reaction and then everything after that, even some of our adults, wasn't fair to these kids at all.
Gotcha. So after this happened, after that boils down, you guys get reprimanded or punishment. So let's just start off to the first thing. What's first punishment you guys got for this?
The first punishment, the first thing we heard was we were suspended for the rest of the year.
Now, how many games at this point have you played?
We were 5-0, 6-0. We had 4 games left, 3 games left, 3 games left.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So you had a perfect record.
Perfect record.
You were undefeated.
Undefeated. Only
You
one
killed
team.
this team.
Only one team scored us on a fluke, and we killed the team.
Listen, even if they scored on you, not on a fluke, you guys won.
Right.
You won all your games.
Yeah,
you were undefeated at the time.
Yes,
And then this Akron parent got upset, and we do think that possibly it stemmed from the fact that their kids lost. Let's just be real. People get emotional when their children lose a game, and the children get emotional when they lose a game. It's very normal, right? It's a very normal thing. And then the people who won are very happy and celebrating. Like, that's just normal in any game, whether it's adults, whether it's kids. It doesn't matter, right? It's normal for you to be emotional and upset when your kid loses and to see them all upset and defeated. Like, as a parent, you know, that touches you, right? And then the same thing, we see your kid happy and celebrating. Like, you're very super excited for them.
Right.
So I understand this lady is emotional, you know, whatever, over her child, you know, losing, right? Granted, she was a cheerleader, but losing team, right? Celebrating for the losing team. And I'm sure she was upset about it because cheerleaders are just as involved as the kids sometimes, as the teams. Like, they're like, those are their teammates, you know, even though they're cheering. So I'm sure the cheerleader was upset as well. However, I feel like as adults, though, the way to have handled that situation was not like this, especially when you name how many assistant coaches and head coaches and board members were also on that field. There's no reason it should have had to go so far. And I know you're going to go ahead and talk about Facebook, but before you get into that, I did watch the video and I saw the mother saying how the reason she reacted that way was because, well, there was no one in charge and she didn't know what to do with no one in charge.
When she came up to the bleachers, all the girls, it was mayhem.
Some parents ran onto the field yelling and cursing at the Medina players. They've been given a warning.
I can apologize for not knowing what to do in the moment, but for going on the field, without having some leader to tell us what to do, that was our only option.
But you've named about 12 adults that was on that field. It sounds like they were some type of in charge. So no matter what, it sounds like it didn't need to be handled the way it was from the very beginning.
Exactly.
And in that video I watched, she was like, the way she was articulating the kids' behavior was almost like they were like unruly.
And they were.
And I believe she, at one time, I heard that she called them animals or something along those lines.
Animals, heathens. It disgusted me.
And that's how you know she's emotional. Those are very emotional words from someone who lost. That's what it is. It's being a sore loser.
Let me be clear. Akron never asked for us to be suspended more than one game.
Gotcha.
As a league, Akron only asked for us to be suspended one game.
Okay.
It's the other commissioners that voted, they motioned
Gotcha.
that we be kicked out. So it wasn't even something that was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you was the Batavia commissioner, you the Albion commissioner, and I'm Akron, I'd say one game. Oh, I motion, you motion. I motion to have them suspended for the rest of the year.
Wow.
And every other commissioner
Agrees, right?
agrees.
Gotcha.
Because everybody, in my eyes, benefited from it.
Right. Right, because you guys are out. The big dogs are out of the league.
Number one seed.
It's out.
Now everything below us moves up.
Right. So, okay, so after this situation happens,
Mm-hmm.
you guys get suspended for the rest of the year.
Yes.
And this was game, what was this?
6.
The 6th game, and how many was left?
3.
So you guys got suspended 3 games.
Yep.
And then what else was involved?
So we called for the president of NOFA, not the head of the board of commissioners, because it's 2 different. NOFA is who we play under.
So NOFA is what?
The league.
The Niagara Orleans
Football Association.
Gotcha.
We are loyal, Lake Orleans Youth, whatever.
Right.
So they suspended us. We asked to meet with him. He told us we had to give somebody up. He didn't care who it was. We had to give a kid up, a name.
Who told you this?
The president of NOFA.
Told you
Got
to give
it.
up a name.
Got it. Because now it's a police interrogation, and you got to snitch on a child.
Everything would have went away if we would have gave up a name. Our commissioner at the time, who's not the commissioner no more, offered to give up her kid, who everybody knew didn't do it.
Right.
So she offered up her kid just to get the rest of the kids back on the field.
And what do you think the point of that was? Let's say you did go ahead and give up
Exactly.
a name because, we robbed a bank. So say you went ahead and you gave up a name, then what? What was supposed to happen?
We would have been able to play.
And what was going to happen to the child?
It would have, under what they told us is nobody else would have knew. It wouldn't have went to the board or nothing, and they would have dealt with that internally.
So we don't know.
So we don't know.
So as a board, we voted no.
Gotcha.
It's not right.
This is like very weird to me. I feel like they're trying to, for me, all right, you got 8, 9-year-old kids, just won a football, extremely excited. Have you ever been around 8, 9-year-old kids when they're excited? Like they're all over the place.
I've been an 8 or 9-year-old kid.
Exactly.
excited.
Like
I
mean,
know what it's like.
What is these people thinking? Okay, they're boys and they just want a football game. They're gonna be a little bit outrageous, high-fiving, whatever, maybe out of characteristics, but in no way, shape, or form do I think it was malice. Did it happen? Yes, a cheerleader did get hit on her wrist by a hand, which to me is kind of weird because there were also in this lineup, there was also adults in this line, and nobody's seen this transaction. You would think if something was done maliciously, somebody, or maliciously, let's use that, maliciously, it would have been seen by an adult or heard.
Possibly, but listen, like the adults, like you said, are at the very end of the line, right? I don't know where this girl was. Maybe she was number 1, 2, or 3. So the parents are very far away. But here's the thing. When you line up to give a handshake or a slap, this is kind of how it goes, right? If you reach your hand out to give a slap, if I miss you, I'm gonna hit your forearm. It's common sense. If I miss the hand, I'm gonna hit your forearm, which makes it very appropriate that the slap was on the forearm. I feel like it was malice, maybe it'd been on your face or something.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm missing on purpose.
And I want to point out 2 things. Our hands are at our side, so it's easier to happen. Because your hand is down like this, if my arm's shorter, your arm longer, it might happen. Second, why the video only started at the end of the line?
When they shook hands. Tonight, Kristen Moran has a follow-up to a story she brought you first earlier this week with the now claims being made about some parents.
And we asked for the original video. They wouldn't give it to us because we wanted to look.
Right, you wanted to see who did
We was
it.
ready to hire some forensic video person to look at this video.
All because of this video I showed you Tuesday. It shows 10 and 11-year-old Akron cheerleaders visibly upset, holding their arms.
Which I feel like that alone is suspicious. Yeah, you get suspended for an entire season.
Now we suspended for the next season.
All right, so let's get this right.
Wow.
I want to get the season part out because we were suspended
So you're 2 seasons.
3 games in the playoffs, and now we suspended the whole league. So 120-some kids can't play football and cheer
This upcoming season as
this
well.
upcoming season because 6, 7, 8 adults got in the room and said no.
Wow.
And
Over
now-
a girl getting
over, and it's not over a girl getting slapped because the reasons they gave us was all adult reasons. It was never our play on the field, our football players. They had 2 complaints about coaches, one which came from this year, and then 1 complaint about a fan.
Wow.
That's why we was on probation. This year, we played and got suspended. I get the suspension. We was on probation. We deal with that. We dealt with that. Okay, whatever is past due. My biggest issue is 100 and some kids can't play because 7 adults said y'all did something wrong.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
And it's not even like a situation where it was like extreme.
No.
Like this is like getting blown out of proportion. And like you said, Nikki, I feel like there's something else behind this. Like what is let's talk about like what else could be behind this. Like why did these kids, these 8, 9-year-old boys and girls, just cheerleaders out there, because they obviously can't cheerlead for that team because they're not there. They can no longer partake in something that they like to do. And they're very athletic. From what I've seen and what I heard about the Medina Little Loop team you're talking about, these are like up-and-coming stars. Like these kids are good. And you're kind of like there as a and they're predominantly minorities, these talented kids that they're talking about. And we are aware of some of the kids that's on this team needs somebody that look like them to help them get back, because it's different when and that's what you're there for. And now they lose that resource which you bring to the table for a whole nother summer or year.
True. And my question here, just to understand what you're saying, so your 8, 9-year-olds are suspended for yet another season, but so are the kids in the upper levels as well, right? Your older kids, younger kids that have nothing to do with this, right?
The teams that had nothing to do with it got kicked out.
Right. So where else in any other league, in any other part of the world, have you seen such a thing happen that Little League or something had an issue and so now varsity and junior and all these other can no longer play? Where have you ever seen such a punishment, especially that starts with something so minor, right? We have to count that something happened, but it's not like the girl wasn't hurt. There was no fracture. Nothing was broken.
I don't know if I said this. My daughter cheerleads for this team. So the way I look at it, I stepped back and was like, what if it was me?
Mm-hmm.
What if that was my daughter who was in that line with these same kids, got slapped like that?
Right. Your reaction would be?
I want something done. I don't want nothing done to the team.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Like, that's not, at first, my raw reaction, I might have been that parent. I might have came on the field. I'm not going to lie. But after the dust settles and I can't find out who did it, I chalk it up to kids being kids because my daughter is all right. She just got slapped a little hard. Her brother slapped her too hard sometimes. Do I suspend him from the house?
Right.
Do I kick everybody
for the
out
next
the
2
house?
years?
Exactly. Like, that's the way I try to look at it. Like, yes, I'm a football coach. My son don't play.
Right.
My daughter cheerleads.
Right.
So
you're invested in it
I'm
too.
invested the opposite way because they think I'm just about the football players. No, I turned it as soon as it happened to if that was my daughter,
Right.
who was in that line.
Right.
I even questioned her. Did you see anything?
To me, I feel like if that was my daughter, and that happened to her, I definitely would be upset. But I definitely would approach the coach and say, "Hey, this is what happened. My daughter got a bruise. Somebody did it. The boys are wild. Calm them down. Whatever the case may
Right.
be.
Just reprimand
It's
them.
done. Let the coach.
Right.
Then that coach gonna be like, all right, boys, since you guys want to act wild, we're gonna run extra. That's fine with me. That's
Right.
fine with me. That's how you.
Right.
That's where discipline is. You disciplining boys. And this is what happens.
Right.
Extra laps, extra hits, whatever the case may be. But to
Right.
be suspended for the rest of the year, then these kids were unable to attend the football banquet at the end of the year.
Well, let me correct that. They chose not to. They chose not to because our board let them down.
Okay.
Our board listened to Harold. He told us not to go to the media. He told us not to get on Facebook.
So why would he say that? Why would he tell you
'Cause-
guys not to go on the media? What was he hiding?
That's my question. My question is, where else do I get threatened like that? If you go to a lawyer, I'm gonna do something to you.
Like, did he say that to you? Was he was this implied to you?
They said it, and I'm upset that I wasn't fully prepared because
Yeah.
it's in writing.
Right.
It's in an email to one of our commissioners. We went through 3 commissioners this past year trying to figure this out
Wow.
because they kept telling us to sit idle, do this, do that, and we did it.
Right. So what they did was they manipulated you, is what it sounds like. They tried to tell you, be the bigger person. Don't say anything.
It was week by week. It was week by week too.
Really?
I don't want to get that confused because the first week we were suspended. Oh, you could put in to do this and try to get back in. Then the next week it was something else. Then the next week it was something else. Then playoffs came. No.
So they knew what they was doing behind closed doors, but they had to drag it out for a certain amount of time and manipulate you but by telling you you're doing the right thing, right? Until they made their decision.
But
And kind of blindsided you with it.
so my question to you, Nick, after hearing this is like, why would the president tell them not to go on social media or ask a lawyer? Like,
This is the president of what?
The league we play under. So look at it like the NFL.
So the president of all of the teams, over all the teams. Oh, they don't want no black kids winning.
And they
You asked my opinion. They don't want no black kids being the champions. Period. That's why he did it. They don't want a whole bunch of black kids killing all these white kids and coming out on top with a trophy. They don't want that. They need to sweep this under the rug, or they saw that original video and know they were wrong and they don't want to admit it. So now it's going to be, don't say nothing, because if they get that original video and proved it was wrong, now you got to backtrack on all this punishment you're giving out, all these threatening that you've given out. The Akron team's got to go back and talk to this lady who's now been on all over the news talking about, like, there's so much reprimand that has to happen now.
Gotcha.
If you were to go ahead and admit it. So I'm sure that's why the original video's not coming out. It must be something in there they don't want you to see that proves you right. They've gone too far now to really show the truth.
Right.
That's what I say.
Right.
Because in all honesty, I'm gonna keep it a stat. The woman walked up to me. The only person she spoke to that whole game was me. I'm the loudest person on the sideline. If you don't know football, say you came to this football game, you would have swore I was that coach. I'm the loudest. I'm yelling the most.
That's probably why she chose you. But no matter what, the way they dealt with it was
and our
wrong.
best player
Right.
is African American.
Right.
And guess where he's supposed to be playing at? In another league who voted us out.
Gotcha. So now they got him back.
No. His mom moved him to Medina. So they still can't get him back.
Wow.
But the craziest thing is he told us not to go on social media. But in the video that got posted to YouTube, in that video, he points out that somebody called his son a racist on Facebook, who had
Gotcha.
they didn't even post it to the league page. This is their private page.
Right.
I was looking on the Facebook page. I see everybody going back and forth,
it
ranting
was-
and yelling and arguing. There's so much on there.
Akron don't even want this.
Right.
Akron didn't like the team.
Yeah,
that
but
we had.
Akron started it.
Right.
No,
Akron
parent from Akron started it.
exactly. That's enough for me.
No,
Just
wait,
like they
I
said,
get
it's
it.
enough for your kids, right?
I
That
get
one
it.
kid
I
that
get
hit.
it. I get it. I totally agree with you. But once Akron said 1 game suspension, something happened. I would, as a dad, I would have took that. I would ask for that. Okay, y'all don't want to give up each other? 1 game.
But see, me, okay, so if that's the Akron, but for me, it's like I can't swallow that because at the end of the day, they still went on the news. They still threw gas.
Who?
Yes,
the
the parent.
the
The mother.
mother.
That parent.
The mother.
Yeah.
Just that parent. Nobody from Akron organization
Football.
actually went against, not even a football team.
Okay, but where was the president not telling her to go to social media?
He did.
Where was he at?
But he can't control what somebody else. We just listen.
Right, but you listen.
We just listen.
But
we
he can't
thought,
control the decision he makes against you. So he told her, and she still went against what he said.
But like I
You
said
followed
before-
directions, and they still fired
like I
y'all,
said before,
basically.
Akron said 1 game suspension. When it went to the vote at the table, somebody motioned the rest of the year. We got 3 votes nay. The rest of them said yeah. I believe the rest of them was in our range in the standings.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard to
Because-
figure that out without knowing the exact vote because they won't give you guys the exact vote.
No, we know 2 people that voted for us. It was Akron and Holly.
Okay. So
I
you know for sure.
I don't know who the 3rd team was.
Gotcha.
I know for sure Akron and Holly said no
Gotcha.
to both
I know,
of them.
listen, I know no matter what, at the end of the day, no 8 and 9-year-olds shouldn't be able to cause punishment for 16-year-olds.
No.
Like, or whatever age the other leagues
And if
are.
you
There's
fault
no
the adults,
reason.
Tell us to revamp our board and our coaches. Because like I said, I was ready to step down. If y'all blame me, and I was the pinpoint and I was the bullseye, as the only African American in our coaching league right now, in our league right now, I was ready to step down. As much as it hurt me, because like I said, I don't even coach my son. He played a level up.
Right.
I don't want to coach him.
Right.
I have fun
Right.
having fun with other kids, watching them learn.
Right.
Too hard on my son.
Right.
So I didn't want to coach him.
Right.
But as I was ready because I thought that was the fire behind it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll step down.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
I just think that the discipline was far excessive. I know that there has to be something else behind this, and whether it's racially motivated, whether it's just to get the big dogs out, it is far detrimental to the kids because now you got kids 8 or 9, 10 years old who has nothing to do with this upcoming summer. What I want, and we're going to close this out, what I want is that for this to get out there, for somebody to reach out and do what they need to do to get these kids back on the field and play football. There is no reason why one incident, a slap, on a cheerleader should affect 120 kids' summer and livelihood. What do you think, Nick?
I agree, and I wouldn't even call it a slap. I call it a miss high five. The kid didn't slap this girl. A slap makes it sound like it's a vengeful type of thing. So I wouldn't even call it that. But I would say if just because you miss a high five in a lineup when you're excited doesn't mean that you and every other person within your league or however you put that should never be able to play football for the next couple of seasons. Nothing about that is fair, and I've never seen such a punishment dished out anywhere else.
Right. 60 seconds, anything you want to say?
I want to say thank y'all for giving me this platform.
You already
y'all
know.
Absolutely correct. These kids do not deserve to be kicked out. Like I said, if you want to kick anybody out, kick me out. Kick the adults out because now it's the adults. It's not the kids.
Right.
That's all I want to say. Make it about the kids.
All right. So, like again, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. We appreciate Peter for coming through. You know what I mean? Get your love, get your hands. We love you out, my nigga. But we're going to close out. Thank you guys. Tune into the next episode. Nikki, close us out.
Absolutely. As I always say, like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know who you might want to see on here, what questions you might want to ask. And we would be happy to have him back on if you have some things you want to ask.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace.